Through difficult experiences, life sometimes becomes more meaningful. The more time you spend thinking about yourself, the more suffering you will experience. All suffering is caused by ignorance. People inflict pain on others in the selfish pursuit of their own happiness or satisfaction. When someone who has lived a kind life dies, people miss them and say so. But when an angry, greedy, ruthless person dies, there's a sense of relief. So, I try to practice warm-heartedness wherever I go. When we meet real tragedy in life, we can react in two ways, either by losing hope and falling into self-destructive habits, or by using the challenge to find our inner strength. Thanks to the teachings of Buddha, I have been able to take this second way. In our concern for others, we worry less about ourselves. When we worry less about ourselves, an experience of our own suffering is less intense. One begins by identifying those factors which lead to happiness and those factors which lead to suffering. Having done this, one then sets about gradually eliminating those factors which lead to suffering and cultivating those which lead to happiness. That is the way. It is important not to allow ourselves to be put off by the magnitude of others' suffering. The misery of millions is not a cause for pity. Rather, it is a cause for compassion. Although you may not always be able to avoid difficult situations, you can modify the extent to which you can suffer by how you choose to respond to the situation. Physical comforts cannot subdue mental suffering, and if we look closely, we can see that those who have many possessions are not necessarily happy. In fact, being wealthy often brings even more anxiety. Virtually all of us have benefited from our mother's affection at the start of our lives. When someone is on their deathbed, if he or she is surrounded by loved ones, they can pass away peacefully. From birth to death, we all need affection. We human beings are all the same in wanting to be happy and not wanting to suffer, and yet many of the problems we face are of our own making. We seek happiness in external things without realizing that they don't help when we have problems within. We need to focus instead on the joy that comes with peace of mind that allows us to remain happy whatever happens. Every single being, even those who are hostile to us, is just as afraid of suffering as we are, and seeks happiness in the same way we do. Every person has the same right as we do to be happy and not to suffer. So let's take care of others wholeheartedly, of both our friends and our enemies. This is the basis for true compassion. If a person's basic state of mind is serene and calm, then it is possible for this inner peace to overwhelm a painful physical experience. On the other hand, if someone is suffering from depression, anxiety, or any form of emotional distress, then even if he or she happens to be enjoying physical comforts, he will not really be able to experience the happiness that these could bring. A truly compassionate attitude toward others does not change even if they behave negatively or hurt you. Pain can change you, but that doesn't mean it has to be a bad change. Take that pain and turn it into wisdom.